Thank you so much for joining me on Lunch Out Loud Ottawa this week. Of course, Lunch Out Loud Ottawa is the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make Ottawa the incredible city it is. I'm alone this week. It's Nick Baczewski. So before we talk to Foodie Prince, why don't we check this out? So that there was Dig Me Up by Miss Polygamy. So Miss Polygamy will be playing the main stage on the last day of Blues Fest, so that's July the 14th at 3 p.m. They'll be on right before J.W. Jones, who we had last week. So you can download their debut album. It's called One Night Stand. It's free, so you can go to misspolygamy.com, and it's a great release. So, Nick San Solo right now, here with Jen and Don Chow from Foodie Prince. Thank you very much for coming, guys.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for having us.
It's very, very nice to meet you. After seeing you, reading your blog for so long, and seeing you on CTV Morning Live, and just seeing all the exciting kind of stuff you're doing in the city with regards to food and wine and drinks that we love, as well as many other people in this city. So thank you for that. I just want to. We're at University of Ottawa right now. And we just had lunch at the Relish, a food truck here at the University of Ottawa. So one of the many great food trucks that we now have in the city. And so it was my first chance to ever sit down with food reviewers or people that know more than anybody else I've ever met about food. So it was very interesting. So we had 3 dishes.
Yep.
A black bean taco, a chicken taco,
chimichurri chicken taco.
Chimichurri chicken taco, and a great noodle dish. The pork noodle dish. So can we get about, how do you go into reviewing food? I know we talked about it a bit, but more importantly, how was the food we had today?
Food we had today is great. Relish the Flavor truck is actually, it launched in 2012. Paul Bergeron's the chef owner, and we expect great things from him. He always delivers. He's a former French Cafe cook chef, and he decided to branch out. He wanted to bring fine food to the masses, and that's what he's doing.
So he was one of the first food trucks that came out to the city.
Yes.
Different than...
He was one of the first. He's good friends with Jackie Joliffe of Stone Soup Food Truck and her green truck. And he was one of the pioneers. He didn't apply for the on-street licenses. He's not one of the 18 that came out this year. But he's been around a while, and a lot of new food truck owners ask him for his advice about the business and how to survive and how to make money. And one of his advice is always keep your price point at an affordable level, and $8, $8.50 is a magic number.
Yeah, and like we're talking, we're seeing some that are priced around $12, but maybe we'll see that come down a bit in the future. And you're telling me something earlier as well about the the cost of having the food truck and then having to work the 7 days a week. And, do you think we'll see these big food truck rally festivals in the future? Do you think it's possible?
The on-street licenses are okay for a food truck to operate. A food truck needs to be either on the street or on private property. Now, if you have a license, you can be on the street. If you don't have a license, you have to be on private property. So what happens is a lot of these trucks are stationary for small amounts of time. There's no roaming licenses, so the on-street licenses mean that the one food truck has to stay where it is, do its business, and that's all it can do. It cannot follow the crowd. It cannot follow where people go throughout the day. It cannot follow or create There are no real food truck alleys that form at Day's End for dinner.
Yeah.
Not in the city, not yet. So these food truck rallies are critical because a food truck can run anywhere from $60,000 to $125,000. I've heard of $250,000 trucks. So if you need to pay back a loan of that high, amortized with interest, you're paying it back at $8 a shot for a meal. So these guys have to work hard and they have to work often. So, and when it comes to events, there's a high participation cost. The participation fee at at Blues Fest is $5,000 to be at the main stage. So it's hard. It's a hard living. These people are not doing it for the money. They're doing it because they love food and they want to share it.
So absolutely support
It's
it.
almost like they have another mortgage.
Yeah, absolutely. So what did you think of the food there that we had today? What do you look for when you go into what's the process?
Well, we do check to see what type of food truck we're going to. So in this case, Relish. They are known for using local ingredients as much as possible and whenever it's available. And because this chef did used to work at Fraser Cafe, so we are also looking to see him bring some of the techniques that he developed there and to the food truck. So we check to see if it's fresh, and we also check for flavors.
Skills.
Yep, the skills. And we don't necessarily look at presentation. Simply because it is from a food truck, we're not in a restaurant, so our expectations are pretty different. And we also check to see if it's accessible to everybody. And they are based at Ottawa University, so their main customers are students who might not have a lot of money on them. And we also look at price point too.
Wow, so that you look at several things before you're going in.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to this food truck, well, we were at its launch in 2012. It was at Westfest where it launched. We had the food then. We have the food now. There's been some turnover, but Paul promised to bring good food to the street, and he's done it. It's you have a generous portion, lots of protein. It's
lots of veg,
lots of vegetable. It's amazing how much green and how there's the garnishes. It's a really, really good portion that you're getting for it's a good value.
Yeah, and so I guess getting back to Foodie Prince, and it's been going for 7 years now.
Yeah, 7 years.
How did it come about for some the few people that don't know what FoodiePrince.com is and how it got started?
Well, it started in Christmas 2006. And it actually was never really meant to be a food blog. So what had happened was that Don had a Christmas potluck lunch at his office, so we made some biscotti, and so many people enjoyed it that they kept emailing him for the recipe. And I think after about the 5th or 6th request, he just got tired of emailing all these people, so he paid for a little bit of web space, put it up on a link, and that it was supposed to stop there. But at that time, I was still in university and I was schooling out of town. And my friends and I, we were not convinced that Don could survive alone as a bachelor, because it was his first time living on his own. He had never cooked and cleaned and done all that stuff for himself. So he started putting up pictures of what he was making on a daily basis to prove to a house of girls that he could take care of himself. So that was more like it was
more of a food journal to begin with.
Yeah.
But as a food journal, as it progressed, it so happened that I wrote my first food review. Back then, there was no Yelp. There was no Ottawa Foodies. I just happened to write my first review, and then I started meeting some amazing people in the food industry in this city. I met farmers, I met restaurateurs, I met chefs. Oh my God, the restaurant industry here has been so kind to us, so welcoming. We know chefs on their first name basis. We've met cooks. We've been to some of their industry events, and we discovered that food's about people, it's about stories, and that's why we keep doing it. That's why Foodie Prince has existed for 12 years. It's 12 years eventually, 7 years now. We want to tell the stories. We want to tell a story about how Paul decided that it's great on the line, great at Fraser Cafe, but he wanted to branch out. We want to tell the story about how Tara Kassan of Gong Fu Bao, he developed a love for Chinese buns, and he decided, I want to take that to the streets. I want to share that with Ottawa, and he does. Well, he will sooner or later.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
So food is about stories, and what we do is we try to tell the stories. We try to promote. The one thing about the city is that the city loves its food. We have foodies in the city. We have people that are food enthusiasts and people who don't like being called food enthusiasts. But the city is starting to really love its food, and it's good to promote it, and that's what we do.
Yeah, and have you seen many changes in the past 5-6 years since you started in the quality of food in Ottawa, the amount of people taking more risks to bring more creative food? Or?
Well, when we first started, we were always told, what is there to eat in Ottawa? Absolutely nothing. If you were to make a drive from Toronto to Montreal,
you can skip Ottawa.
Yeah, because Ottawa is just boring.
It was all pubs.
And that's actually what I was brought up to believe. So I went away from Ottawa for about 5 years to go to school, and then I came back, and Don and I started going out on dates again and going out to eat, and we discovered, you know what? Ottawa is really not boring. There's a lot more to our food scene than most people give credit for. And it's in the last few years that it's starting to become recognized. I remember when Murray Street Kitchen was named as one of the top new restaurants in Canada from the En Route Air Canada magazine. Even at the Canadian Culinary Championships, which take place every February, those who are placing in the top 3 in this last couple of years, it's been chefs from Ottawa. So, we've got a lot of talent, and like Don had mentioned, our city is surrounded by thousands of farms. Okay, well, maybe not thousands, but a lot of farms. I think about 1,200 farms. And, what major city do you know is surrounded by that much rich farmland? And then all the restaurants are taking advantage of it. Yeah. So it's slowly starting to become a destination place.
Food destination.
Yeah.
It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Where when we started reviewing, we started noticing that there was a gap. There was a lot of middle-tier, high-end restaurants. There wasn't a lot of low-end restaurants. The food trucks fill in the low-end gap. It's somewhere you can drop $10 and you can have a good meal. El Camino by Matt Carmichael. By Matt Carmichael. Matt's going to kill me for not remembering his last name. Matt Carmichael, when he came up with the idea for El Camino, it was not a new one. He wanted to be able to serve good food at a fair price to a lot of people, and he wanted to share his love of street food. In his case, it's Asian street food that he loves. He loves Southeast Asian food. So he loves Nanya, Peranakan, that style of fusion style food, and he loves tacos. So Side Door has some of that when he opened it, and then he opened El Camino. And El Camino, you can. Okay, how many restaurants do you know where you can take the entire menu, order every item, and it's under $100?
No.
And that's El Camino. It fills that gap. It's not high-end food. It's not fussy. You go in there, it's casual, it's laid back, and it's damn good food.
Yeah.
It's good quality, great ingredients, good skills, and that's what he brings to the table. And that's what the city's starting to see.
It's some other restaurants that have surprised you that you went in thinking, because you have this mentality about going in with this review and then you're completely surprised? Any ones that have just blown...
Zen Kitchen. When Zen Kitchen opened with Caroline Ishii, Caroline was actually told, not a good idea. You're not going to make money. You're not going to last a year.
It's vegetarian restaurant.
Vegan.
So,
it's vegan food.
Vegan, yeah.
And where are you going to get enough customers to fill your restaurant on a weekly basis, especially when we have so many meat eaters in Ottawa?
Yeah. So we walked in. We didn't know what to expect. We saw a lot of Asian flourishes, a lot of Oriental food. Caroline has since left, and there's a brand new chef there, and he's doing some amazing things.
Yes.
But when you go into Zen Kitchen, if you weren't told it was vegan, you weren't told you're not going to be eating meat, you wouldn't know, because the food is just good, and it's great textures, it's great thoughts, great textural contrast, great flavorful contrast. You won't miss the meat, and you won't know the difference. That's the amazing thing about Zen Kitchen.
I've been blown away about that. What's the event that every year when it's the fixed price in February? That's always a great event. That's where I first went to Zen Kitchen. The 3 courses.
Was that their Winterlude?
Yeah, there's a Winter Bites program put together by Ottawa Magazine.
Yeah,
it used to be part of Winterlude. It's now in January, and it fills a gap because in the wintertime, post-Christmas, you're going to have a lull when it comes to sales of anything. And restaurants suffer the most until Valentine's Day. So to fill that gap, Auto Magazine goes to all the restaurants and asks, okay, you go do a price fix menu. We'll promote it. That's what they do. That's the thing about Ottawa. We need to promote what we have. It's amazing what we have. It's award-winning what we have. And we need to know about it.
And we're going to keep going. And so once we're going to take a short break now, but we'll be right back with Jen and Don Chow. And we're going to listen to a song called Gotta Getaway from Miss Polygamy. So once again, Canada Day, or not Canada Day, that just passed. So they'll be at the main stage on the last day of Blues Fest at 3 p.m. So check them out. We'll be right back. So once again, that was Gotta Getaway.
I'll be back by the end of the week. The city's got a hold on me, but if you hold on tight, then you can watch and see, yeah.
So once again, that was Gotta Get Away by Miss Polygamy. Check them out at the Blues Fest. All right, so Jen and Don Chow, if you go to any food events in the city, you're going to see them there. And there are so many ones that are out there. So I'm just going to rhyme through a bit that they've reviewed or spoken about. One that I just read about was at the Farmers Market Black Box competition that UMC, Jen.
Oh yes, that was fun.
See, and I love on Sundays, every Sunday, going down to the Farmers Market. Even if I don't even buy anything, I just love looking around and seeing all the creativity there. So, can you tell us a bit about what that competition was? It sounds very interesting.
So it was great. So it was the first time they've ever done it, and I'm trying to encourage people that if they enjoyed it, that they should go back to the organizers and say, please have another one, because it was the inaugural one, and they're hoping to make it a yearly event. I'm trying to convince them to make it maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of work that goes into it, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. But it was a lot of fun.
Two chefs?
It was two chefs. So there was Chef Jason Lorin from Essence Catering, and he had another chef with him, Chris Tremblay, formerly of Epicuria and Maples and Tulips and Maple. Mm-hmm. And then there was another very young chef. I'm just trying to remember his name. Oh my goodness.
He's from Indulge, Ottawa, and I
right.
forget his name as well. It's not a good thing either. The chef stage for Mark Lepin, so you're going to find some very modernist cuisine twists in his restaurant.
Where is Indulge?
Indulge is in Riverside South.
Yeah.
I think it's on Lime Bank Road.
Yeah.
It's pretty far out, but I've been told it's worth the drive out there. But anyway, so you had this very young chef. He's I think he graduated from Algonquin College back in 2011. So then he was up against a seasoned chef, someone who's been around for at least 20 years or so. And like any true black box competition, in some ways anything goes. So we had 2 power outages at that time. But it was all done outdoors. They both actually ended up using all their ingredients in the box, and they had a wild card, which was they could choose one ingredient from any vendor that they wanted.
Okay.
So I think Essence Catering, they chose basil and Indulge, they chose bacon. Except they didn't realize till afterwards that the farmers who are there, their meat products are frozen.
Okay.
That's right. I mean, you just simply can't hang, fresh beef under a tent.
Yeah.
So they realized that with the bacon frozen, they would never be able to use it because there was no way it could defrost in time. They had it was a 90-minute competition. It was great fun. It was held outdoors. The rain held off. It was just it was just a fun.
How many people were out there for it?
Well, it started off as a small crowd, probably under 15, but by then the smells were drawing in people. So I would say after 90 minutes, there were over 100 people just crowding around wanting some free food.
So we'll make that bigger for next time. It sounds like a great event.
It was.
If you missed it, in August, there's going to be the Harvest Table that's being held at the Ottawa Farmers Market in association with Savour Ottawa.
Brewer Park, if you don't know where Farmers Market is, Brewer Park.
So there's also going to be a collection of chefs that are participating this year. They'll be paired with farmers, and they're going to prepare dishes for it's a lunch. You're going to have a multi-course of really, really good dishes made really fresh ingredients that you can buy in the market around you. There's also going to be tours in the market by Sebon Cooking.
That's really interesting as well. So that's in August?
That's in August.
Some other events that you've been to, which are great, the Care for Health chocolate competition and brunch. Sounds like a great time as well.
Oh, that is always a lot of fun. I didn't attend this year because I have to tell people I'm actually allergic to chocolate, and now that I'm in a room with too much chocolate, the smells actually overwhelm me. So in the past, I used to just take the photographs, but I can't really be in the same room now with all that chocolate. But Don has been judging, along with Claire, our wine blogger, for the last few years, although he decided to take over my photography duties this time to spare me.
Someone had to do it. It's always great competition. You see a lot of passionate people from who are donating their time, and they're donating the ingredients to produce portions of creative chocolate for a couple hundred people.
So that's a great one too. So I like that. What about Harmony House's Red and White event? I've heard great things about that event as well.
Oh, that's a beautiful event. It raises money for the Harmony House Women's Shelter. It's the only second-tier women's shelter we have in Ottawa. The event's always arranged by Tracy Gainforth LaFleche through Tag Events. She just opened up an event planning company, actually.
Okay.
And
Tag Events?
Yeah, Tag, T-A-G Events.
Okay.
And what she does is she organizes. She tries to bring a bunch of chefs together, and they do a food demo, and you'll see them make dishes, and you can try them after. Algonquin College always provides volunteer chefs to volunteer culinary students to help out. So at the back of the event, you're going to see a lot of hands with Algonquin College written on their whites, and it's a great event. You get MB Petals always does the flowers. It is something that I'd like to see more of in the city. It's
more events like that. What about Oktoberfest in Vankleek Hill?
Oh, Beau's Oktoberfest.
This one is all Dawn's because it's usually held the weekend of his birthday. So I always say, go have fun. Go take that yellow school bus.
What I usually do for my birthday, because I don't like celebrate. I hate celebrating birthdays. I really don't like celebrating birthdays.
He just doesn't want to get old.
So I volunteer at Beau's Oktoberfest, and I've done it for a number. I've done it since the first time it was offered to public.
Really?
The Beau's Oktoberfest originally wasn't to public. It was meant celebration for staff to have a lot of fun in October because the staff work hard, so they drink beer and they celebrate as if it were Germany and it's Oktoberfest, right? Well, it started getting bigger, and so they opened it to public. And so these days now, it's a couple thousand people. You're going to have restaurants.
Around 15,000 last year, yeah.
You're going to have restaurants participating. You're going to have producers participating between here, Kingston, Quebec. They come in. And Bose and Steve Bushen, he invites local brewers to come in. So you might have Kitchissippi on board. You might have Beyond the Pale on board. He's turned it into one heck of a charity fundraiser. He raises money for all sorts of causes like United Way. One year he raised tens of thousands of dollars for United Way. So it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. If you don't want to drive out there, which I recommend you don't if you're going to go drink, they make beers just for that event. There's a school bus that goes from Saint Laurent Shopping Center to Vankleek Hill to the fairground and back and have some fun.
Yeah, it's a great event. What about Knives Out Ottawa? We were talking a bit about that. A lot of people don't know about the supper clubs and the Knives Out Ottawa that you've participated in, both of those.
Well, those are a lot of fun. I've only been to one, but if you want to see what chefs can do when they're not in their kitchen, they're in someone else's kitchen and they just want to have fun, this is the event to go to. You're going to eat very, very well. You may not even be able to finish everything on your plate because there's so many courses and there's so many chefs, but this is where they really let their creativity shine. Well, I'm gonna let Don talk about this one because he's just been to more of them than I have.
I've been to 2.
That's more than me.
Steve Mitten arranged this. It's his friends essentially got together. It's all guys, surprisingly, that they got together to do Knives Out. Knives Out sells out in an hour, so whenever we mention a new Knives Out's coming out, we'll give you a time when you can call the restaurant, make reservations. I suggest you do it, but. It's a great way, just like Jen said. These chefs, they'll always have to make food that put on a menu that will sell well. At Knives Out, they can do whatever they want, and you can see some amazing dishes you'll never see in a restaurant at Knives Out. They always pick a theme. There's one. They try to do one a quarter. And if you ever want to see if you ever want to try a dish from Mark Lepin, who's an award-winning chef in this city, and you want to see why he makes modernist cuisine accessible, go to Knives Out. He's always there. He always contributes one dish. And the other thing about Knives Out is that there is an equivalent or a supper club called Clam Jam. This one's organized by Sarah J. Allen, who works at Union right now, and she's gotten a bunch of gals together to do the exact same thing.
Love Union, by the way. The Speakeasy, number one.
Union's a great restaurant. Union's actually hosted Clam Jam, and she gets female chefs together to do the same thing.
Oh, really? I get it. Funny. I like it. That's incredible stuff. So, I guess that's good. We got this week. We have the brewery market this weekend at Parkdale Park. That's I think from noon to 8 p.m. And so that's going to be this is an inter-province collaboration with 2 cities that hardly ever get together to collaborate on things. But it's going to be really interesting where you're getting 4 breweries, I think, from Toronto. Yep,
Toronto Ottawa collaboration. When it comes to beer and wine, we always refer to Claire, and Claire will be able to tell you what great wines they're serving. Otherwise, you can talk to Katie Watts, who's Ottawa's foremost beer blogger.
Yeah.
What Jen and I are excited about is Pascal's ice cream. Pascal's coming down and she's making floats. Odds are I'll be Harvey and Vern's, and her ice cream is insanely good. So imagine really rich, really flavorful, really old-fashioned ice cream made by hand, floating on top of really good soda.
So before you go to Blues Fest that night, definitely go and check that out. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out. We're at University of Ottawa. Sorry, there is a truck, I think, backing out, and then it's just backing up and keeps backing up. So we'll deal with that. But just before we go, a couple other events that are going on. You got Herd Magazine's 4th edition launch at Fall Down Gallery. Do you ever read Herd Magazine?
We read Herd Magazine for its food articles written by Kelly Bryson.
That's right. And so that will be at Fall Down Gallery. That's going to be packed, so get there early. Blues Fest, tonight we got Cat Empire and Black Keys, which will be fun. Tomorrow, Zach Brown Band, She and Him. Saturday, Bell and Sebastian, Fits in the Tantrums. I'm just naming a couple groups that I recommend that I've seen before, other than, of course, the Ottawa bands, which I've totally recommend you seeing. Sunday, you have Wu-Tang, Eric Burden. That will be fun. And, of course, Sunday, the brewery market. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll leave you with one last song from Miss Polygamy. It's called Cocaine Kisses. It's off their new album, One Night Stand, that you can get for free at misspolygamy.com. And Andrew Miller, I'm sorry you missed this one, but hopefully you're recovering from your dentist appointment. Have a great week, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Western wind, why don't you blow me from sea to shore? You know that you've been here before, but you didn't realize that you got it. My pockets are empty and my palms are full. With your cocaine kisses, no wonder you never listen. Now you can't be my missus anymore. River, road, wet gravel, don't track your mud in on my floor. Candyman, your sweet treats can't seem to get me going. If I walk down your street though and you offered it to me, I have to admit that I take 'em. But your motives are selfish and your ego's glowing. I cannot be your trip out buddy when your jackal side is showing. My pockets are empty and my palms are full. With your cocaine kisses, no wonder you never listen. Now you can't be my missus anymore.